Ever wonder what's really lurking in your tap water and what it could be doing to your health? Today on the podcast, I have Helen Christoni here from Ideal Living, and she is an expert on water and filtration and really what to do. So she's going to help us unpack are all these hidden poisons and toxins and whatnot inside our water supply and all of ours, and how you can do something about it. There's some simple science-backed steps to take to purify all this water so you're in control in your home and also when you're out and about. So we're going to dive in. This is extremely important, especially if you are in the middle of detoxing or thinking about doing that. All right, so let's dive in. All right, Helen, how are you doing today? It's great to have you here.
I'm so good, Joe. I'm really glad to see you again.
Yeah, I know it's been a little bit, and I know you've been busy. You've been with Ideal Living, the company, but we're talking about AquaTrue and water stuff today, which
Awesome.
you have really good, cool. You've been in this space for a long time, the whole water filtration, and you studied this. So I'm just super curious to learn all about water from you, and.
Awesome.
Yeah, we haven't really done a water specific episode, so that's where I'm like, well, I know someone. Helen's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like the more that I've learned about water, the more that I am passionate about talking about it because it's so vital for life and people just don't know what they're drinking and what they're cooking with. So super important that we talk about it and just raise everybody's awareness on what their options are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, because I didn't know much of what's in our water supply, and because we talked before on my other show, but also just in person, and we have some mutual friends, and I just went down the rabbit hole learning about what is in my local water supply as opposed to maybe others. It's all kind of different, but also what can we do about it? So that's why I feel like that's what we could talk about here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm curious. So Helen, what was the switch or what got you into this whole space in the first place?
Well, I have known the founder of Ideal Living, Peter Spiegel, for a long time. I worked with him earlier in my career, like 25 years ago. And I went into the beauty business and then I came back into health and wellness. When I wanted to pivot, I came back to work here for AquaTrue by Ideal Living. And when I started learning about the water, my big aha moment is when I went to ewg.org and I ran my water report. And so for those of you not driving, if you're sitting at a computer, or if you're just chilling on your phone, go to ewg.org and put your zip code in. And that was it for me. Like when I saw that there were 16 contaminants in my municipality that caused cancer that were over the health limits, I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody that runs their ewg.org report is going to have a very similar reaction, unfortunately, across the United States. And so really important, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And, it's like people, I always hear it from people that live in New York. And I love New York, right? Oh, we got the best water. We got the best water. You do not have the best water. And it is totally filled with microplastics, forever chemicals, carcinogens, all kinds of things that are horrible for you. So really important we know what's in our water. And now there's so many chemicals in our water supply that we really everybody needs to be purifying their water at the household level.
Yeah. I mean, that's a minimum, right? Like,
Yeah,
well, and we'll talk.
everybody.
Yeah. No water. I don't know. It just blows me away because, I did the ewg.org/tap water. I think will get you right to like the water zip code little thing.
Yeah.
So plug in your zip code. I mean, what kind of stuff? You said microplastics. I mean, what are some of these other elements or things that you're seeing in water?
The one thing that always gets me when I run my EWG report is the chromium 6. So Erin Brockovich movie came out over 30 years ago for
Yeah.
people who remember, and she was talking about the chromium levels in Flint, Michigan. It's a big, it's horrible, and
Yeah.
it's a horrible contaminant and shouldn't be in our water. We've known about this for a long time. There's a whole movie made about it, and 30 years later, it's still in our water supply. I was in Orlando, Florida,
Uh-huh.
and I ran a women's water report there. And I mean, she had things in her water that was 1,000 times over the health guidelines. Now, what's really interesting is you can see the forever chemicals and all the PFAS, PFAS that are in your water. So now they're starting to track that. And so at some point, hopefully they can regulate it. Like the government needed to identify forever chemicals, PFAS, as a hazard for us to start even being able to measure it. So there has been changes in identifying what's harmful for us, and I'm glad that we're measuring it, but measuring it is one thing, removing it's another. So super important that we all know what's in our water so we can address it at the household level.
That's good. Yeah, and I just as you were answering that, I was looking at my own water district, and yeah, it shows 11 contaminants that exceed the EWG's health guidelines. Total of 18 contaminants.
Yeah, and I was talking about that woman in Orlando. So I was at a table, I was running some moms like water reports, and she had arsenic in her water at 1,000 times the guidelines.
Oh my God.
So, and she was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. You know, I mean, she's got arsenic, like poison in her water at 1,000 times the health guidelines. And so that was a really big, this was just recently actually. And I was like, oh my God, like we're going to give you an AquaTrue, right? Because we wanted to make sure that she had something to do. She was so scared.
Yeah.
And so I think not to scare people, there's a lot of things that people can do to purify their water, but knowing what's in your water is the first step of really taking control of a fundamental thing that's so important for your health journey. So water, key to health, and making sure you got that right is really important.
Yeah. Well, so I guess talk to me now, because we'll talk about, the filtration and everything, but like what are some of the, I guess, the health impacts that you're seeing of dirty water and long-term exposure? Yeah.
I mean, it's really scary. You know, I mean, every single day I'm opening up a new study on microplastics. You know, everyone's talking about microplastics right now. We have microplastics found in the brain cells of people that have dementia.
Yep.
We have microplastics in people's heart valves for people that have heart disease. We have, microplastics in men's penile tissue when they're having fertility challenges. So these microplastics, we should not be ingesting them. And the rate of which they're like creeping into these health implications is really, really frightening. So I know everyone's heard about it, like plastic bottles, not good, glass bottles now suspect. Really, like I said earlier, purify your water at home. One thing I think that's a very key piece of information that I like to leave with people when I'm talking about water is if you simply cut out drinking out of plastic bottles, you will reduce your microplastic exposure by 90%. This was recently published in a Harvard study. So if you're listening to this, this is one choice that you can make every single day, that just stop with plastic. Just stop. And it'll really be beneficial to your long-term health.
That's wild. That's a nut stat. And I just had another woman here talking about microplastics, and then we have nanoplastics as well, so even smaller. And because now with the better testing, you're picking up, it's a lot worse. So what's to say they're not all in everything else with plastic?
Yeah, and then we have like forever chemicals too. I think forever chemicals are equally as scary because they're called forever chemicals for a reason. They do not. Like, it's really hard to destroy a forever chemical. And they can live within our bodies for years and years and years. And they're linked to things like fertility issues again, lots of health problems, some bone disease. We also have all kinds of concerns as it relates to these contaminants not being able to boil out. So people think that when they cook, that you're actually, cleaning your water, you're removing the bacteria from the water. Sure, when you boil it, but some of these contaminants, they concentrate, they don't dissipate. And so when I learned that as a mom, that contaminants don't boil out, it really blew my mind. Because think of all the meals we cook, all the, water we boil for pasta, to make mashed potatoes, like mac and cheese, let's go, right? We boil a lot of water. And so when it comes down to, when you really think about it, you don't want to be serving contaminated cooked meals to your family. And it's really important that, homemakers, people that cook understand this, because we're programmed to think you boil something, it's clean. It is not clean. So another thing that you can hear today, please, contaminants do not boil out, and make sure that you're cooking with purified water also.
And I would assume, because those are big, the boiling thing, I was going to ask you about that because that's a pretty common misconception, I'd say.
Yeah.
But how about just washing vegetables and all of that stuff? Yeah, anything else that you'd probably naturally run under sink water or tap water?
Yeah, I mean, I just think as much as possible, we want to really be able to be using purified water. Because I always say, like, you don't want to retox when you're detoxing, right? Like, water is vital for us as humans to detox our bodies at the cellular level, right? And if you're retoxing when you're supposed to be detoxing, it's actually quite problematic. And so, I think that contaminated water really can cause a lot of health issues, gut issues, forget about all the scary chemicals. Let's just talk about what they're treating the water with. Chlorine, chloramines, all these things. I mean, it's just chewing away at our gut lining and our gut health. We don't want to be like those disinfectants are disinfecting our gut. That's why I think so many people have gut issues now today, and their gut bacteria is really like we're having so many gut issues as a country. And so one of the most important things you can do is drink purified water, because you don't want to be ingesting all that chlorine, those chloramines. Like it's all like, they're disinfectants, right? So it's like, let's have a side of disinfectant with our water. No.
That sounds lovely right now.
Yeah.
Geez. But how does this affect our, I mean, you said mac and cheese and all these other things that like kids would probably have. Like, how is water affecting little ones more than like the adults?
It's very important that we are not giving our kids tap water, or anything with microplastics in it. So, like, you're never going to want to be like, here's your sippy cup, filled with forever chemicals. Right? So we want to give these kids the best chance at developing, making sure they're detoxing as they should, and also I think it's important. People are always very concerned about minerals.
Yeah.
Right. And so trust me that you're getting more contaminants from your tap water at home than minerals. And so really easy to add minerals into our diets, much harder to remove contaminants from our bodies. And so I think like supplementing with minerals is super important. And but you're not really getting them from the tap water that you're cooking with or you're drinking with at home.
Yeah, it's like the layer is to clean first and then add in whatever of those that you want. Well, let's talk about filtering, filtering water and like, because it comes in all different phases or, styles. I mean, people have the Brita filter, all these other things. Like, I guess, tell me the spectrum of filters and then kind of how, because I know certain filtration techniques will filter other things out.
First of all, I'd like to say that something is better than nothing, right? But, water filtration isn't created equal. And so I'll walk you through the different types of filtration. Cool. So you have a pitcher filter, like you just mentioned, and pitcher filters are really made to remove lead and chlorine from the water and to make it taste better. And so it's one single carbon filter. And so you get very light filtration out of a pitcher filter. And I think something that's also very important that people realize is you really need to stay on top. If you're using a pitcher filter, make sure you're staying on top of your filter changes, because what happens is once that filter is like absorbed, right, or cannot filter anymore, the contaminants will leach back into your water. So then you're actually like superdosing your water if you're not on top of your filter changes. That's a big concern. Like you see all these kids going to colleges, everyone's sending a pitcher filter with their kids. Please send an AquaTrue carafe because like, trust me, like my own daughter Bella, she had a pitcher filter, and when I moved her into the carafe, it was a game changer for her. Like she loved taking her little glass pitcher to her bed, and anyway, so with my own daughter, I made that switch. Then you have fridge filters or sink filters. Now, fridge and sink filters are marginally better than pitcher filters because there's pressure. Anytime, and anytime you put pressure through a filter, it's going to work better. It's going to remove more contaminants. So they're like marginally better than pitcher filters. Same thing. You can superdose your water or your ice cubes if you're not changing the filters. And then also, it's a single level of filtration.
Yeah.
Then you get into like what we have at AquaTrue, which is 4-stage reverse osmosis, like quadruple filtration, right? And the thing about RO, which is so great, is, let me break it down for you. So we have our first stage, which removes all the sediment, rust, that kind of stuff from the water. Then we have our second phase of filtration, which it removes things like chlorine, chloramines, leads, and then it goes through the RO filter. So the RO filter is really a game changer here. So the RO filter, it's a membrane, and all the pure water goes to one side, the contaminated water stays back. And then we have a fourth level of filtration, which is this carbon VOC filter, which removes things like we're not even testing for, like drug residue, rocket fuel, this sort of thing, like forever chemicals that kind of just like seals the deal. And you can also remineralize that filter if you want to. We have a remineralization option, makes it alkaline, raises the pH, which people like. But I want to talk about RO gets a really bad rap because there's a little bit of wastewater. And we've worked really hard at AquaTrue to minimize the amount of wastewater. And I myself have really had just my own aha moment as it relates to the poisonous water that's left behind. Like, that is the poison. Like, no one wants to be ingesting that, and you do not want your family or your kids ingesting this wastewater. You want to throw it away. You do not want to use it. It's literally poisonous contaminants that can do harm to your body. And so, like, I've really kind of changed my perspective. We've worked so hard to minimize the contaminated water that's left over. But I really, as time goes on and water gets worse and worse and worse, like, please don't feel bad about just discarding that poisonous water. It's really not good for us.
Yeah, especially in the carafe. I know, it will leave, because I've had the carafe and also the under sink one. It makes sense, though, because I'm imagining it's because of the pressure, right? Like, you have to force water through to actually get the purified water on the
And
other
also,
side.
you can tell it's really gross. Like, it's a different color. It smells like it's toxic water that's left behind. And so, please discard of it. You're not to reuse that water. It's really concentrated, contaminated water.
Just with that alone, it's just like, that blows my mind, because that is concentrated contaminant water that normally would be diluted, but through all the water that you're having off your tap. So it's like,
Just like Air Doctor, which is the sister brand to AquaTrue, like, you see all that disgusting stuff that Air Doctor catches. It's the same thing with the water, like in that leave behind tank. It is gross. You just take a whiff of that stuff and it's really, really disgusting. So it gives me peace of mind that my water is really being purified.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And genuinely, the taste of this water is like so much better.
It's the best.
It really is. And that's also, Dr. Savage in MD Lifespan. I know and in the guidebooks, you'll see AquaTrue recommended as the go-to water filtration.
Hello, my name is Carrie Stewart, and I did the brain protocol for the MD Lifespan. I was struggling to recall names of couples, and so I shared this with the doctor. That's when he introduced me and said, I think you're ready, and let me explain to you a TPE, because this is going to help your memory, your focus, your clarity, and I truly believe you'll be a wonderful candidate for this. I have had 5 TPE protocols, and each time I have improved. And it's not until this last one that I am feeling so back on top of my game. Like, my brain fog is gone, I am focused more, I have more clarity. This was life-changing for me, and I feel so much better for it.
Funny story. I was just at another podcast and it was at it was the biohacking conference. The guy tried to catch me. Like he tried to trick me and he had 3 cups of water, all unmarked. One was AquaTrue, one was tap, and one was bottled mineral water.
Yeah.
And he was trying to see if I could figure out which one was which. And I totally nailed it. Like I knew AquaTrue is some of the best tasting water you will ever drink, guaranteed. Really, everyone is so obsessed once they get it, and I personally have a hard time drinking anything else.
I'm always carrying stuff like this around everywhere I go, like my own bottle of water.
Yeah.
What's something that just came to mind, because I have been to your offices and I know you have this at the office, but like when saying you're on the go with your big water bottle and you want to fill it up somewhere, you have the filtration now at like airports everywhere, which is, I'm guessing, a good step in the right direction. But are those kind of like that single filter?
Any water filtration system, it's very important that they've been independently tested to remove contaminants for the lifetime of their filters. And that is called NSF, like being tested to NSF standards. And so there are many different NSF standards. AquaTrue, I believe we have 4 of them. Most companies maybe only just have 1 or 2. The one primary one is just to remove lead, chlorine, and make it taste better. So when you're looking at these pitcher filters or these industrial professional filters, most of them are only have the one NSF standard to remove lead and chlorine, but not all the other things like microplastics, forever chemicals, all these other things that we're worried about. And so AquaTrue, we've developed a Pro Series line. We have bottle filling stations that they are really the only filters that are certified to NSF standards to remove 84 contaminants. We are very proud of this because there's so much kind of misinformation out there in the water purification space, and we challenge people that are out there selling these bottle filling stations to get the testing, like invest in the NSF certifications, because people have the right to know that when they're going in an airport and they're filling up their water bottle, that water filtration is certified to NSF standards to remove something, anything.
Yeah.
And also just, like people just think it's pure and it's not. There's a lot of hazing going on in the water purification business. A lot of people say like tested, by NSF, or tested to. Just because it's tested doesn't mean it's certified or passed anything.
That's true.
And a lot of people say it's certified to NSF standards, and it might only be for 1 or 2 contaminants. And so there's a lot of like fake claims in the water business. Any company that has really done extensive third-party testing will post their results, and you'll see the reduction rates. And so like on the AquaTrue site, you can see that we're certified to NSF standards to remove 84 contaminants for our at-home units and for our professional units. And so really excited to get these in yoga studios, schools, airports. Can't wait. And I'm sure you guys will start to see AquaTrue out there more and more because we're really getting a lot of traction.
I love it. Yeah, I want to see it in more places because it's great to see these bottle filter. Like it's good to have. And hotels, I'm starting to see a trend now of like having a machine there because it was all just plastic water bottles before.
Yeah, and that whole industry is kind of interesting because we made it so you can change your own filters, right? And they're our AquaTrue filters that everybody knows are easy to change, and so we're really being a little disruptive in this industry because other big professional bottle filling stations, you need to have a tech come out to change the filters and maintain the machine, which can be very expensive. Yeah. And with AquaTrue Pro, you can do it yourself.
Nice. Well, there you go. Some savings there.
Yeah.
So awesome. I'm curious of like, what are some other places where the wool has been put over the public's eyes in terms of water? Like, because you're deep in it, you're reading the studies, you're looking at all the testing. Like, what other things do we need to know?
The government. I mean, let's just talk about the government a little bit here.
Yeah.
And how their hands are so tied when it comes to addressing the water crisis that we have here in the United States. So a couple years ago, there was a bipartisan bill that was passed to really address our water situation. I believe it was like a $55 billion bill that was going to go in and replace the 12 million lead waterways we still have here in the United States, and also implement reverse osmosis water technology at the municipality level. And so they passed this bill. And then they rolled back the bill, and now the bill and the government are being sued by private sector and lobbied to stop this bill. And so nothing's been done. And this is the problem. Like big corporations don't want to live under these mandates. And so like the red tape in Washington, D.C. around these big initiatives just makes it impossible to get anything done.
Yeah.
No one should think that the government's going to be able to fix this problem, at least in my lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that we understand that there's things that you can do that are affordable. Like I think with AquaTrue, it comes out to like 11 cents for a liter of water. Like it is affordable to have these at home, and you can just have peace of mind that your water's covered.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, thanks for breaking down the math too, because I think that puts it even into more perspective how this is in touch with, I would say, most people. Like just consider this is the thing that you're always drinking, cooking with, and it's kind of your first step of defense, it feels like.
I mean, really, it's like a night out at a restaurant for a family. Like that's how much like a home unit of AquaTrue will cost you. Like, and so rather than like one night out with a family, you can invest in a water purifier, and it will last you for years and years and years, and just with filter changes. And so when you put it in perspective, I think it's just a really easy thing for something to implement. And AquaTrue is, I mean, our customers, we are growing, and the community we have around this healthy water conversation is really beautiful. And so we've also saved we're probably in the 4 billion mark now of single-use plastic being that we've saved as a company. And so it's just a really great time for AquaTrue as a business. And we're really excited to keep having this really authentic water conversation and education at the company.
Yeah, no, it's great that you guys are leading it, and I know that's your big focus there.
Yeah.
What tell me about water in other parts of the house, like your shower or washing your hands and all that stuff. Like I'm just curious of like the exposure side there. How does that work? Any
Yeah,
stats?
well, by taking a shower, I think you can ingest more chlorine or chloramines than you would if you drank 8 glasses of water, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Wow.
And so, and if you wouldn't drink it, like why would you shower in it, I guess is the message there. And so we have been working on a shower filter, Joe, for 3+ years. And it was very important to us that we were able to offer something to the public that really addressed the needs of households here in the US. And so in different municipalities, they use different types of disinfectant. 60% of the country uses chlorine. 40% of the country uses something called chloramines, which is ammonia and chlorine mixed together, very nasty, super hard to remove. So we went and we created our own proprietary technology. We've been spending years on doing this to make sure that we remove the chloramines in the water at the shower level. Why does this matter? Because places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, Washington, D.C., like all these huge cities are using chloramines as a disinfectant. And so, and chloramines can like chew through copper piping. It's the last thing you want to be showering in. And people just don't realize chloramines exist. They just think chlorine, it's like a branded term, kind of like Clorox, right?
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of people's houses, mine included, don't use chlorine. They use chloramines, and so very hard thing to remove. We remove it from the drinking water. We also remove it from the shower. And our AquaTrue shower filter is really cool. We're in the process of NSF testing now, and
Cool.
we've independently tested it. Like we're confident that we're going to get that certification. But we had NSF resurrect their chloramine testing. So, because we're so passionate, Peter, the founder here was so passionate about making sure, because it's just something that people don't know, and we know. And so the world's about to know about these nasty things called chloramines, and you want to make sure that you're removing it from your shower filter.
I mean, it makes sense because that was something that was on my mind. I think immediately when I got the filtration system for water, drinking water. I was like, well, how about all the other places I'm using water? It's like, do I really want to be, bathing in that, or even, I don't know. I'm sure there's vapors too of all the stuff. I don't know enough there.
Yeah, I have to say, very proud of the AquaTrue shower filter. It's going to be a game changer in this industry, and definitely a disruptor, because we worked long and hard on this proprietary filter technology, and it's really a beautiful experience. It's also adjustable, so most shower filters aren't adjustable, and you can have like massage, stream, like all 4 different things. Really easy. It's like a 60-second install, and it really, you can tell the difference in your water at the first shower. Like it's pretty
Crazy.
magical.
All right.
I'll have to send you one.
I would love that. Yeah, I definitely want to try it out. Well, let's with MD Lifespan, what we talk about a lot here is the detox side. And I remember I wrote this down because you like retox to detox, that whole thing. So, I don't know how familiar you are with the therapeutic plasma exchange concept, and so we talk a lot about that's obviously what Dr. Savage does at MD Lifespan, and so that's why, essentially why it's so important to fix your water problem, because I just keep thinking of like, why would you go through all these detox protocols and things when you're just going to retox, right? So I don't know. Have you worked with people on the detox protocol? What are your thoughts?
Let's just talk about setting your body up for success with any detox.
Cool.
And so this pure water piece is foundational, because if your cells aren't if they're not filled with this pure water, you're not even your detox isn't even really going to work. And your body's really not going to be in a place where it's available to really absorb this detox, have it work correctly. So I always say that when it comes to kind of foundational health, if you're really trying to go on a health journey, pure water and pure air are 2 basic foundations that you need at the cellular level. And it's just such box that's really easy to check that you should check. Then you know that whatever you stack on top of it, like whatever supplements you're taking, detox protocols you're going through, you're actually like ready to embark on that journey and have it be the most successful. And so I think that people forget about it. It's like we take air and water for granted, and it's just such a super important part of the start of any health regimen.
Yeah, and that's where Dr. Savage is always saying it's your home that's the most toxic place, and I mean air and water are probably the 2 basic things. I mean, I actually need to get another air filter in here, but like we have an air doctor as well, and love it. And it's that thing. It's wild when those things kick on. You're like, oh yeah, I just blew out a candle, for instance, and it's just like.
You either have a filter or you are a filter, right? And it goes both ways for water and for air. And so your body is working overtime to try and purify and detox all these contaminants that you're putting in your system. And the difference between air and water. I mean, like we're ingesting so much water, and so it's super key to make sure it's pure as possible, especially if you're going on a detox protocol, because at the end of the day, if you still don't feel good, it might not be the detox. It might just be that you're retoxing. And really, really important with anybody that's concerned about their health, any chronic inflammation, any sort of, immune challenges, like anything that people are going through, first thing that you should address is your water and your air. Like I had a period of my life where I was really unhealthy, and I had to really take a good look at my toxic burden. And that's one of the reasons I'm really passionate about having this conversation, is because like I myself I was like 42, 43 years old. I had severe osteoporosis, like my bones were crumbling, and I called Peter up, and he was like, you have to purify your water and purify your air. And here, now, 8 or 9 years later, I work here and I'm carrying this message forward because, you can get healthy and you can reduce your toxic burden. And once you do, you will never want to go the other way. Trust me.
That's for sure. Thanks for sharing that, by the way, a little personal background. Well, let's end on this note, which is I'm always kind of curious, like, what do you personally, Helen, hopeful for in, let's say, in the water space? I mean, you're doing some awesome things with, Ideal Living as a company, but I'm thinking as a whole too, just society and.
I just would love for this to be the standard. Like my dream for AquaTrue is that, first of all, like when you go into restaurants, you'll see, water purified by AquaTrue, that we become peace of mind everywhere people go. Children's schools, restaurants you go to, gyms that you work out in, just making sure that people like associate the name AquaTrue with purity is really important to me. And because we really invest so much in our testing and to make sure that things really like deliver on our promise. And I also think that just so people know. I think that awareness is key. I'm big on education, that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. I think that, just running your EWG.org report is a very great place to start. It was really my aha moment. And I think it will be like anybody who's listening today, run your report, see what it says, and then take steps from there.
Yeah, definitely investigate. If you don't know anything, use your favorite maybe AI tool or something to investigate. What does this mean? Like, what is this really long acid that's in my water that I've never heard of before, but happens to be, in my case, 362 times the got like just wild stats. So, yeah.
If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't be drinking it.
That's the truth. Oh my gosh. And the fact that you said rocket fuel earlier is still, I'm like, rocket fuel?
No, I mean, let's double click on that because I think people don't realize that there's the things that come up on the EWG report and then there's things that don't because they don't test for them. Things like antibiotics, birth control, antidepressants. There's all these things in our drinking water. And so, no one wants to be with the issues that we're having in this country with fertility. We're so susceptible for disease now and illness.
Hormones, right? Like it's got to be affecting that too.
Yeah, so we don't want to have any of these like pharmaceuticals in our water. Our children, like you don't want to be giving our children pharmaceutical laden water. So I think it's really important that we can remove it. And and it's easy to do. So check out AquaTrue. We have something that works for every family. And so really, we're so proud of the line. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up.
Awesome. All right, Helen, this is great. Thanks for going deep down the water rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And we'll link everything else that you mentioned in the show notes description. So appreciate your time.
Thanks, Joe.
You got it.